It feels a little bit like Gaza all over again, in that how long were we talking about genocide? How long were we using that word? How long were we going, wake up, look what's happening? And then after 2 years, Piers Morgan and all these other people finally, like, started coming over, finally came over and started using the G word, or they started finally saying, "Oh, Israel, I'm not sure about that." It feels a bit the same. It's like we've been screaming this from the rooftops since actually before the last election. What we were screaming from the rooftops before the last election was a foreboding of a shadow of itself as to what actually happened after the election. But since then, we've been screaming it from the rooftops. And now fucking Taxpayers Union are jumping on the bandwagon. There was a chat that went past that said something like, Ghana didn't quite say puts his finger in the air and finds where the wind is, but Gaza. And I don't, again, no disrespect intended. I'm just acknowledging and viewing what happened. Gaza became an okay thing to support for everyone when it got too bad. But there was lots of people who refused to acknowledge it at the start. It feels like now there's all these people going, oh yeah, Nicola Willis, not liked very much. We better have a crack. Rather than going from day one, you know how she cancelled those fucking ferries? We're going to get worse ferries and pay more. And what happened? We got worse ferries and we're paying more, no matter how they try and square that circle. So it does frustrate me. And so then my question to you, Chewy, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, is do we welcome them on board like comrades? Because they're now saying the right thing in this one area. So do we welcome them on board in this area? Or do we acknowledge them as being grifters and lightweights and coming across because it's safe now to do it? It's safe to do it. They won't face any repercussions going, Nicola Willis is awful now, but 2 years ago they would have. Or do we just continue to go, you fuckers, it's not enough. Sorry, the crimes against humanity that you supported, I am exaggerating for effect, at the start, you have to do far more than just acknowledge it to be brought onto this boat.
Yeah, more.
Okay.
Do more. Always more. Like the Taxpayers Union, and I use that word with deep irony because they're not.
Careful. They offered me a job. You might be talking about my employer.
Yeah, they've never been a union. They've purposely used that name to muddy the waters, which is what their whole job is, right? Jordan Williams is responsible for pretty much every AstroTurf group on the right since day dot. It used to be something that never happened. Now it happens all the time, and it's always Jordan. Do I welcome, as a Godzilla versus Mothra moment, TPU having a crack at National? Yes. Are they an ally? Never.
Let them fight.
Never, ever. Because I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't trust their aims. I have a big question mark over whether they're going to do this sort of thing. Or is it just, we won't be. Like, hopefully he does. I want to see him burn. I want to see them all burn. But I would never trust the Taxpayers Union.
Yeah, so someone like the Taxpayers Union, like a group like that, it's like the Free Speech Union, right? They do this thing for one of sort of three reasons. One of the reasons is they genuinely believe it, and they've changed their position. Another reason though is they have to, from time to time, take on certain, it's like when the Free Speech Union defends drag queen story time because it's free speech, but then the next 99 things they support are far right. They can go, well, we defended the drag queens. It could also be that. It could also just be a ticking of a box that they have to basically do it. The other thing I'll tell you, and I've heard this from numerous people, is Jordan Williams hates with a passion Nicola Willis. And I'm going to say allegedly, because again, I'm aware of that, but I've heard that from numerous sources, that he is a real vendetta against Nicola Willis. Don't know why, don't know what's behind it. It could be false. It's just what I've heard, and I put it out there with a grain of salt. And so is there something personal in this as well? That could be a part of it.
So if that were the case, then that's even worse, because this is the thing that I detest about the Taxpayers Union. They are wholesale a partisan organisation. They always swing at the left more than they swing at the right. If they sat there and just pointed out stupid spending, They could do that equally for both sides, most likely. But in the case of this government, where were they
Yeah.
when the ferries got cancelled?
Yeah.
Right? Because that was action without a plan. That is you took a big pile of taxpayers' money, you set it on fucking fire. Where were they when tax was cut to be given to a non-productive part of the economy that isn't going to make the tax take any better? Where were their comments there? That's why I don't trust them.